Hello friends, you probably think I'm in a very strange place, in a different setting. My camera looks different, there's some weird hand here. But essentially, I'm visiting my girlfriend here in California. So I'm recording this at her place from my laptop, which surprisingly has a pretty okay camera. And the sound doesn't sound too bad either. So today, as the topic of this video, they did reveal basically the entire set list for Premium Collection. And so they confirmed a lot of things. Some people were expecting a new kind of trigger, which is kind of like the third slot that all the clans got. Then they also revealed, like we already had during the stream, I think it was the last two Progenitor Dragons. And I mean, they have interesting effects, as all of them do, but all the strides have been revealed. Literally every card in the set has been revealed. But what's really exciting is that from that whole set, we also got the amazingness that is Bustered, which is the new Nova Grappler stride. And this card, like I saw first thing in the morning when I woke up today, and let me tell you, it's weird to be in an American time zone for these reveals because I'm used to like the streams and everything happening like during lunchtime or like early morning when I wake up. So waking up and already seeing everything being revealed and discussed is pretty strange. But anyway, so they revealed Bustered, which ends up being an insanely good stride, which essentially, if you haven't seen what it does, you can check out all the effects. Like, we have them in my Discord actually. If you go to the partnered announcement section, you'll see all the translations for the new strides that were revealed. Some of them are amazing, some of them are not as amazing. So what Bustered does is essentially every single time that one of your rearguards stands, you get to Soul Blast 1 and turn something in your G-Zone face up, and then it gets +1 drive for that turn, which isn't once per turn, so that stacks every single time something stands. So you basically take Winning Champ and you just slap, instead of extra 5k power per stack, you add a drive check, which is arguably even better, which is just absolutely insane. And that's not where it ends either, because they decided that this wasn't enough, you know, giving you a bunch of drive checks in one turn, you know, going up to crazy amounts isn't enough. They slapped the second skill, which reads, at the end of the battle that he attacks, if his drive is 5 or more, you can discard 3 cards from your hand to stand him, but he loses 5 drive checks. So let's take a look at how this would work practically, alright? So let's say we're striding into this dude on our first stride, which you can easily do, and you're going from the Zubat Victor, which already gives you the skill that, you know, on attack, you can give one of your units basically an on attack stand something. So that's already 1 stand. So you have 3 drive checks. By default, that's an extra stand. We're up to 4. Then let's say you use Ninjard to stand another thing and gain a bunch of power, which kind of helps because Winning Champ was there to give the huge power stacks, but we have stuff like Ninjard to like keep up the power stacks, which is fine because you still get the extra power with Ninjard because you're adding your face-up G units. So that goes up to 5, so already at that requirement for the second skill to go off, and we're already plussing by 2. Then you have Golsachi, which is going to stand another thing, we're up to 6. Then you have the amazing stand that is Kachi Wall, which basically every time it stands something else. So essentially, you need to stand it with another skill, so that doesn't count, but it adds another layer of standing, so that's already 7. So if you have, like, let's say if you have even 1, that's already 7, but if you have, let's say, your whole back row is just those, then that's, what, 9? 9 drive checks we're at already, but let's just keep it to 7 in case you just have 1, you know, we don't want to high roll too much. The deck does draw quite a lot, but let's not get too excited. But you also have Riser Custom, which every time something stands in front of it, it stands as well, meaning that that's an extra stand every time something else stands. So we're getting at least 8, but you're probably going to stand the column that it's in twice, at least, so let's say 9. So there's already 9 drive checks, and on top of that you can still add Jero Hawk, which, you know, all Nova Grappler players run, for a total of 10 things that you can stand pretty easily in one turn. Like, this does use up quite a bit of counterblast because if we think about it, you know, Ninjard, Victor, what else is there? You know, Golsachi, like Jero Hawk if you use it, that's already 4, so that's maybe pushing it a bit too much, unless like you're running some weird like hero hybrid where like you self-damage yourself a bit, but I mean that's not exactly optimal in terms of premium. But let's say even with like 3 counterblast you can do a lot, you can still add up to these like drive checks quite a lot. And if you do run the Kachi Walls, there is a chance, if you're drive checking 10 times, there is a chance that you're going to drive check one of those stands that you just put back to deck with the skill. So that's just going to add even more and more and more to the drive check. So if you're drive checking like 12 times and then restanding and discarding 3, like sure you're losing 5 drives. So you drive check 12, let's say, discard 3 down to 9, then lose 5 drive checks, so you're checking 4. If from those 4 you check another stand, you can still do it again and discard 3. And in this case, the discard 3 doesn't really matter. If anything, you're getting closer to decking out, but at this point, you've made so much advantage that you can like safely go into favorite champ next turn if you have the counterblast for it and just win game, because it's really, really good. The only thing that obviously, like I should mention, is that it is a Soul Blast of 1 every single time something stands. So you do need to be careful. I think it's going to be interesting how builds change going into this, because you really need to be careful with how you use your soul, because now every card that uses up the soul is going to become like, you need to really be careful about those decisions, because otherwise you're just not going to be able to use that skill properly enough, and that's pretty scary. Like, another thing that people have been talking about is like for standard players that want to convert into premium, for like if they take just their, let's say, you know, Azure Dragon deck from the last extra booster, and they use stuff like the Crimson Bird and Shout and stuff like that, which is like, you know, Soul Blast 1 to stand stuff all the time. Only issue there is that because you're Soul Blasting, you're kind of ruining the win con for yourself a little bit in that sense. So I think it's a little bit problematic, but otherwise, like, I think it's not so much with this card, it's not so much like, oh, it's crazy because of how many drive checks you can do, but it's more like you need to keep in mind how you're going to provide all that soul, because like by default you're going to have what, 0, 1, 2 in, you know, from the start. Like if you use Hawk, that's an extra soul, so you're kind of trading the soul for the drive check, which is good. Like Hawk is a good trade in my opinion, but then with the other ones you really need to be careful with how you're gonna be soul blasting, just because you don't want to ruin the skill for yourself. So you can really reach a high ceiling in terms of drive checks, but it depends on your resources. Like counterblast is for once actually not the most limiting factor. Obviously this was already a debate with winning champ, but I think especially now it's much more of a question and something like worth of debate. But this card is absolutely insane. A lot of really good strides in premium collection. I'm a bit sad that Dimax isn't looking as good compared to cards like this. Like when you compare this to like Ridora or Ichikishima or like Bustered, like he's okay, he's good, he adds an option to the deck, but these cards are just absolutely incredible and just insane. So I'm really happy to see this dude. I think I'm going to be maining Victor in premium for the rest of this year basically after the set releases, because this just makes the deck so insanely good. Like it makes it ridiculously good, and it's hard to say anything else honestly. It's also kind of sad that the Angel one is really bad. Oh, another thing to mention, I guess, like in case, let's say you're not building up soul well enough, or like you don't have all the pieces in hand and you only have like some stuff like Gulsachi and Hawk, or like Gulsachi and Ninjard in hand on your first stride, that because you're playing Victor and you can search out your other Victor copies, you can actually go for the Progenitor Dragon pretty consistently. And the thing is that the Progenitor is really good for Novas because you're setting all your opponent's units to 0 power. And so because of that, you can just whack face with all of your attacks and keep restanding and doing a bunch of combos, and then still, you know, attack with a Progenitor for a huge amount of power. And because they're at 0 power, it's harder for them to guard everything. And you still get restands from Victor's on-stride skill. You get to basically still use all your resources as you want to, but the fact that the Progenitor and the main stride in the set are so good for Victor, just like, I think this is really the clan that takes away the most from this set. Maybe Mega Colony too, I want to say. Like, a lot of clans actually got super good strides. I think like Kagero also and stuff like that. And like the new Mugen Lord is really interesting and stuff like that. But I think Nova really just takes the cake for this set. It's doing super well. I mean, it's not doing super well, but I think it will do super well. Like, we'll see after the set releases. We're going to mostly see whether it really is as good of a deck as we think it is during the autumn circuit. So like from August to December, we'll see if it keeps topping consistently, whether it ends up on the restricted list. I don't think it would though, because like it's a really good stride, but there's no piece in the deck that makes it unfair, you know? Like it's just the one stride that's like kind of unfair, if that makes sense, but it's not so much the pieces in the deck, you know? It's not like the Elite Four of Time Leap. It's more of just like really good cards on their own, but you can put them into any deck basically that like centers around Victor, or like with any other stride, and they'll still be good. So I'm not sure if it would really get restricted unless there's some crazy other card that releases in upcoming sets that like completely takes the deck to a new ceiling. But anyway, those are my thoughts from here in sunny California on the new Nova Grappler stride. Let me know what you guys think of it as well. Did your clan get a good treatment from this set? Are you happy with what you got? Because, I mean, I'm like pretty happy. I'm obviously really happy with Novas. I'm kind of meh on DP after this. Like, I made that video already talking about it, but I'm kind of meh on DP. Angels I'm disappointed in. Narukami is also, like, Conquest is just a little bit too slow for my liking, so that's pretty disappointing. But otherwise, like, the set is really good. I hope the pull rates are good. I hope just they don't, you know, kind of like put one progenitor or like 4 progenitors per case. That'd be pretty sad. So I hope that it's good, like, pull rates and overall just easy to get all these good cards, because this set is really going to change premium a lot, and I'm really excited to see how it's going to go down. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. But that's going to be it for me today. Don't forget to check out all the stuff in the description, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.